Hi guys, here we are, we're back at Willow at Fenland Fisheries for part 2 of my 3 or 4 session quest of the year. That's all I've managed to get on here really. It's pretty choked up right up until August. Obviously it's a day ticket water, but you have to book on here and pay in advance, so you've got to squeeze in when you can. I was just walking down to this peg because along this bank there was people fishing here when I was here last week. I thought I'd give you a little show down here, and it looks nice. Looks good indeed. So that spot out there is where I had the 31 pound common, probably 3 years ago now, along that reed line. Real stunning old fish, real lovely looking common. But as I was mentioning, Mike did inform me, the owner, that there is still 240s in here. So it's nice to know there's a couple of big gals to go after, and there's probably 10 or 15 maybe backup 30s, which feels pretty good. It'd be nice to get into one of the bigger gals. We ain't got a lot of time, we've only got 24 hours this week, but we're going to make the most of it. So I'm actually in a peg that I was pointing the camera at last week, and there's the reed line I spoke about. It's a nice little corner peg. All the pegs here are pretty nicely done, to be fair. The railway sleeper wood and stuff, it's all pretty kosher. And off that reed line I had a 31 common, probably 3 years ago, maybe a little more. I've also had a couple of 20s just down here, just right in close under this bush. So I'm going to walk you down now because I can, because no one's on this bank for some reason. Don't know if that's good for me or bad for me, but who knows, we'll soon find out. So I think I might slip back into the peg I was in last week. It'd be silly not to, really. A lot of the other pegs are taken. You can see our matey over there. Let me zoom in. Right over there. He's just had a small fish, in fact, actually. I know it went a 30, but it might have been a 20. So happy days, I'm sure he's happy with that. I think he's only been here an hour. And here's the next peg up. Again, very comfortable. Got a little down spot there for your rods and that, out the way of your bivvy. Nice raised banks and that, lovely. And the weather's dropped down. I'm just back here after the weekend, and I think we had here in Cambridge 23, 24 maybe the highest in certain places. So it really got hot, and the temperatures crashed back down to about 15, 16 now. Although the sun's out, still a bit nippy. It's pushing some form of a northeasterly wind. Seems to be swapping about a little bit. And here's the middle peg, peg 9. Again, very comfortable. And you get a little piece of water out there. But yeah, it feels good to be back. Quick overnighter, but you never know, do you? So I'm gonna see my van nicely parked up where it was last week. I'm going to get back in that same peg, as I did put 1.5 kilos of bait in, and they probably didn't eat it all last week when I was here. They've probably still been picking bits off while I've been gone. So just with the short session, I think there's no point dotting it about. I've just got to rely on my bait power here, the pulling power of my bait, and hope there's still a few fish milling about. It doesn't look great here, I must admit, but I don't know, it feels like I could pinch a bite, and that's the main thing. I'm literally just here for one bite. If I get one bite in the next 24 hours, I'm going home extremely happy. So happy days. There's my van. I'm going to get sorted out now and leave you guys with that. And I'll see you shortly when I'm all settled in nicely. See you in a bit. Right, I've got 2 reds prepped and ready to go out and all clipped up. So I've still got to mess about with the third rod and change it over from a choddy to a bottom bait. So but I'm dying to get fishing, so I'm going to get these 2 rods out as quick as possible. Here comes number 2. I'm just going to try and get this about 8 foot to the right of that one. Right, we're fishing. Just going to put the back rod rest in now and secure the old butts and that, and then I'm going to get on that 3rd rod and attack that spot. But you'll see how low I was having to cast out then. I was having to keep the lead low in flight. I don't know if you can see on here, just above the top of the picture there's an overhanging willow tree that overhangs the peg, so I'm having to shoot it out pretty fast and pretty low to avoid the branches. I don't want to be snagged up in a tree, and that would be a nightmare anyway. And also behind me to the right, just going to show you briefly, I have that with the branches hanging over there. So if you thought my casting looked a bit dodgy, it's because I'm having to dodge things on the actual casts. So I'm having to change the flight of the lead in mid-air to allow for these branches behind me, and also while I've got this camera tilting, I've also got these overhanging willow branches in front. So it's a bit of a nightmare. I guess that's why Not so many people fish this peg because it's a bit tricky to get a lead out in it, but you can see, obviously through experience and lots of casting over the years, I managed to get them 2 leads out first time. Pretty low, pretty fast. Obviously in general I'd have liked to got them out a little bit higher and a little bit slower, but they both hit clip nice and they both hit a good pace. I've seen separation on both rigs and I got a nice donk down on both spots, and they both landed exactly 8 foot apart out there. So job done, mission complete, and now I'm going to tackle that 3rd rod, and I'll update you in a bit and we'll have a little chat then. Right, so tackled that 3rd rod now and swapped over the old tactics from a chod to a bottom bait with a small bag on, and it's time to get rod number 3 out. Right, and we're fishing. We're in full swing now. 3 rods out there. So let me just run you through why I'm deciding to fish 8 foot gaps. So basically what I mean is all 3 rods have 8 foot in between each bait basically. I vary that on different venues to different stocks and different size fish, and how many fish are generally in the area at the time. So if there's more fish in the area, then I would generally put them a bit closer together, and because the fish are going to compete more. And also I put it down to the time of the year and how fast the fish are feeding, and how they're hoovering up off the bottom if they're moving slower, or if they're rushing around and snatching and stuff like that. You know, sometimes I'll put a 16 gap in between each rod and put a light scatter in and just put a line out there and just join them up slightly. And other times I'll put them, you know, sometimes if I'm maggot fishing in certain winter waters, I might have the rods as close as 4 foot apart, and that just comes down to experience and like I say, a lot of general casting. So you guys who haven't generally fished that type before, it is possible, and I do it all without a marker float as well. I don't get the marker float out unless I'm finding depths for zigs when I'm just starting a new lake, and if it's the right time of year to put zigs out, obviously sort of early springtime or in deep summertime when the fish are moping about on the top. But in general I try not to get a marker float out, especially on shorter sessions like this. If I'm on a 24-hour session, the marker float's a definite no-no for me. Like I say, you just see me there, 3 casts, 3 leads. It's still a bit of disturbance, but I'm hoping it hasn't pushed them out the area too much if there is a few fish milling about. Like I said, I dropped 1.5 kilos here last week when I was here for 2 nights. I'm hoping there'll still be a few crumbs about, and I also put 1 kilo of 18 millers out. So we'll see what this afternoon and tonight bring. So I've got until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and it's just about 1:30 now, and I've got all the rods in. So I'm bang on time. For once, I'm usually running late. So things are looking good, but like I say, we have just gone past a good moon phase. We are entering what I call the non-feed moon phase, where the fish generally don't need to feed as much because they've scoffed over the past 6-7 days. But we shall see. We're here. You've got to be in it to win it. There's a few 30s milling about in the lake, and along with 2 definite 40s, or 1 definite 40 and maybe a scraper, and that's good enough for me. That's something to go at, and there's something to try and trip up. And I'll speak to you soon when I'm all chilled out, and we'll have a little chat then. Well guys, can't actually believe it myself. I got a good fish already. So as you know, it's a short session this week, and I'm sitting there just enjoying the mild weather, watching the rods, and the left hand rod just slowly took off, and I got a good fish. The rods have been in the water maybe 2 hours. So you see me put the rods out earlier. I put about 10 spoms over the 3 rods, the midi spom fill up to the top, 10 of them out, just spread over the 3 rods, and it's gone already, and it's a good mirror. It's really long. I don't know what fish it is yet. It looks like a linear, to be fair. It looks like a big linear. So happy days. I'll give you an update, and we're going to get her out and have a look. Hey guys, here we are. So it's quite bright today. There's a lot of sunlight out. So I found a little spot with a nice bit of full shade in it, so you can really appreciate this stunning beauty. I thought I'd have a little chat with you before I got her out. I'm absolutely made up. I just can't believe it. It's a stunning fish. It's not a huge fish. I should imagine it's probably just under the 30-pound mark, around that sort of thing, around that sort of weight. It's a real long fish. It's end to end in the sling. It's a real long fish, and it's the linear. So I've got the linear. Get in there! It's like one of the old original fish. It's incredible. The colours on it, the massive scales on it. This fish is definitely 20 years old plus, and it's just amazing to get these original fish out of it. That's what we're after, the big originals. A few years back I had a fish called the Big O, which is the big original. That was the biggest original fish in here. That was around the 40-pound mark. And I had a few other original fish as well. You picked a few stockies up along the way, but not going to moan because they're still nice fish. But when you get a fish that looks like it, I'm just babbling. Just wait until you see it, and you're going to find out for yourselves. I'm going to pop her out. She's insane, by the way. Fish is beautiful, period. What a way to start this 24-hour session that we have already, with an epic fish, and I don't care if I don't get another bite now. The aim was to come in and get 1 bite in 24 hours, and after just 2.5 hours I've already done it. Wow. Oh my god, it's unbelievable. So this has been in the sling for probably half an hour or so, and it's already full of fish shit. It's literally just pouring out of his bum. All bits of goodness there, popping out of there. And that's my bait. Obviously I'm in the same spot I was last week when you see me for part 1 of Willow Lake Fisheries. Oh my god, this fish is mental. I'm actually in heaven right now. This is carp heaven. It's so long, so well built, and perfectly proportioned. I might just say it's the nicest fish I've had this year. a linear with scales like this. It's almost got a red belly. It's just having a little kick on the mat. So excited. Calm down, girl. She's a big, powerful fish. She fought hard, especially under the rod tip. Really hard under the tip. The margins here are quite deep in certain areas. I'm going to try and hoik her up now. If she behaves, I'm going to try and calm her down. This certain lift I'm about to do now, for me, seems to steady the fish a little bit more and give me a bit more balance. Oh, come on, girl. Yeah. It's a stunning fish. Look at that. Sorry, get back in the view. She's so long I've got to pull back. Wow. What a super amazing carp. And this is why I come fishing, and this is why I still come back to Willow Lake after all these years of fishing it here and there, just to try and get a fish that looks like this. This is one of the known fish, it's been in here years. The linear. It's showing its true winter colours still, coming out of winter into early spring. It's so black, it's perfect. Its mouth is perfect. You can tell it's a clever fish. It doesn't get caught very often. Once, maybe twice a year again. Oh, it's amazing. I feel honoured to be holding this creature. Black as you like. I'm going to flip around and let's have a little look at the other side now, which is beautiful as well. Oh, it's even got bigger scales on this side. Bigger linear scales here. It's when you think it can't get any better, eh? Wow. So, plan come together again. I'm not going to say as usual because I don't want to sound too cocky, but made up, and things are working out just how I planned them to. Oh, God, what an amazing fish. Can't believe it. After 2.5 hours. Beautiful. Mwah. Thank you, gal, for this. Just going to flip around and get one more little quick show on that other side, just because she's so beautiful and I almost don't want to put her back. This side's red. Oh yes! Epic! Epic bite. It just slowly took off. It felt a good fish and it fought like an old original fish. They just fight different to the stockies. And here we are. The linear from Willow Lake. Lovely. Right, I'm going to slip this beautiful gal back and we'll have a chat in a bit. Well guys, I'm slipping her back now. I almost don't want to put her back. She's huge. She's actually end to end in the sling. End to end. She should have been a 30. I guess that's what the maggot fishing does. Makes all the fish drop weight. Look at that. What a creature. Just getting a nice bit of oxygen through her gills. So happy, it's unreal. She's nearly time to get going. Such a long fish that, Jesus. That's what the maggot fishing does, guys, though. Makes them drop weight, unfortunately, and this does get hit pretty hard with the maggot through the winter months. But I'll speak to you soon anyway. I'm going to slip her back, alright? Well, we're entering into deep dark now. So I've got about 10 minutes of light left. So I thought I'd shoot you a little video to show you what I'm seeing right now. It's just beautiful to be here. Lake still. Birds are chirping. I can see fish rolling right out there and over my spot, by the way. I've had 5 shows now over the 3 rods, so I think it's going to happen. I feel good about tonight. It's a crazy big full moon, and sometimes that can just pinch you, that big common. So they are going to be feeding pretty heavy tonight, as it turns out. So basically I'll reel you off a few pieces here. In carp fishing, sometimes you need a little bit of luck, and it turns out not only am I fishing well, but I have got a bit of luck on my side this week at Willow. Last week there was 2 guys on the field side bank, and they kept deciding to spot out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then 6:30 the next, no, 10 past 6 one morning and 7:15 the morning after. So it was a real pain in the arse, and they were spomming right out on the back of my spots right at bite time. So we get to the point this week, I've got none of that. I've got that whole middle section to myself more or less, which is why I put all 3 rods on it. No disturbances, and I don't make many disturbances. I fish for the big girls, and you've got to be cute, you've got to be quiet, and you've got to get things right. And boy does it feel good to be back fishing for the big girls now. Just to know for the next 6 months I'll be fishing for 40s and 50s non-stop, and I love it. You cannot beat banking a 40-pound fish. Colossal fish. Oh, did you see? Yeah, it's a bit dark out there. Fish just showed out just on the back of my spot, probably about 12 to 15 yards behind my right hand rod. So things are really looking up. I feel like I can actually get even another bite or 2, maybe 2 more bites. We'll just see what happens, but it feels good. I feel like I could have a decent hit in these 24 hours that I have. And if not, it's still just beautiful to be here. I've had that beautiful 27 now, so nothing else really matters. That linear has just blown me away for this session. Nothing else matters now, but you know me, I'm always trying to get better and trying to conquer every lake I go to. So I am expecting a bite, and I'm hopeful for a bite still, or maybe 2. And let's get this right, guys. We're at Willow at Fendon Fisheries here, not Vermeiden. Vermeiden's a fair piece easier than this. Willow is not an easy water by any means. It can go weeks without doing a fish, or any good fish, shall I say, any of the big girls. They're not stupid. They've seen it all before. They've been fished for like 20 odd years, every day of their lives. These fish are cute, and they know how to get rid of a rig. But the few guys that do have the big hits on here are all good anglers. If you ever hear of a big hit coming out of Willow, it's usually because the angler is an extremely good angler. You get a few younger kids on here, sort of 16 to 20 at times of the year, and then you get a few guys that come down sort of once or twice a year. Then you get the guys that, like myself, that like to get about and really target the big girls, and they often do okay here too. But it's not easy, but if you do get it right, you can get fish here. As you've seen on this part 2, I've already had a fish, and I had 3 last session. So things are looking good. And the bait is certainly doing the trick. I just love this time of night, it's amazing. Bats flying past you, birds are going mental, the carp just started going bonkers. And right back here, I'm all sorted out now finally. You can't see in there, but that black hole is the bivvy with an open front and the bed. You can see the shape of it when I outline. And I'm going to watch the rods all night. And try and get on them fish as quick as I can if need be. And look at the moon, it's going to be a huge bright yellow moon tonight. Not white, like a yellowy colour it's going to be. It's the big moon. Love it, loving life. Right, well, we're just about losing everything now. And well, you can just about see that pat actually. But I'm going to leave you with this tonight, and I think it's going to happen. So fingers crossed, I'll speak to you tomorrow morning, and I'd have had some action. I'll see you then. Yes, look at this smile. So you joined me here in the morning at Willow Lake at Fender Fisheries, and epic night's fishing. Can't believe it, it just took off. I thought it would, and it did. Obviously I only had a 24-hour session this week, and I made the most of it completely. So let me fill you in on last night's action. It started off with about 10:30 last night with a 30-pound catfish. Happy to get a bite, bit of action. Makes a change to get a catty. I haven't had one for a little while, so happy days on that one. And then about 35 minutes after that, on the middle rod, took off. I had a 23-pound mirror. Happy with that. Then about an hour and a half after that, I then had a little 15-pound mirror, stocky. More than happy, still bites, you know, still early in the year. And then an hour after that, the big girls arrived. So I pulled out of what I thought was a catfish. It blunted the hook, but I think now it was a big carp. After the second one, I'll get to that point anyway. So I had a 30 after that bite. So I had a fish, pulled out of it, not pulled out of it, but the hook obviously had hit a bit of bone or something. And then not long after that, I'd had another good run, and I got it in, and it was a good 30, which I'm about to show you shortly. And both the fish felt the same, so I don't think the one I pulled out of was a catty in the end. I think it was a carp, and a good carp at that. But there you go, I'm happy. So things have really paid off, things have come together this session. I knew I didn't have a lot of time, so I had to make my time count, and I got here early. Well, not early, got here when you're meant to get here, of course, but got the rods in quick as possible, got a bit of baiting over the top, and I was prepared to sit on that for 24 hours, and if I got one bite, I was going to go home very happy. And obviously you guys seen that beautiful linear I had yesterday. I was happy with that, and then last night's fishing, it felt like my rods were going all night. And to top it all off again, the rest of the lake done nothing. Between 5 of them, didn't have a fish. So happy days, and they're all absolute melters. No bits and pieces. Every fish melted. So happy days on that one, and I'm going to get her out shortly, and we're going to have a look. See you in a bit. So here we are, guys. Lovely big fat chunk. Proper little chunk, this one. Nice. Very nice. I'm going to give her a quick weigh. I haven't weighed her yet. Give her a quick weigh and see what she goes. Still got leeches on her, which I'm pulling up now. See you later. Get off her. Little buggers. So looks chunky, who knows? I imagine it's got to be around the 30-pound mark, this. Yep, yes, it's over 30 pounds. Get in there. That is 30. It's around the 31 mark. Yeah, just touching 31 pounds. Lovely. Get in there. Proper unit, this one. Proper unit. Oh, calm down, baby, calm down. Kicking off, she's going mad. Calm down, girl. I'm just looking at what she's been eating. A lot of hemp and boiling. She's going a bit mental at the minute. Sorry guys, I will get her up shortly, but the fish is really having it like this and kicking off. Just leave her in the retainer on her belly for a minute and let her calm down. Real thick set fish this is. Real thick set one. I'll try and get her up if she'll let me. She's probably not going to. the time with her. She's had plenty of time to recover in the retainer. Big thick black head, and I'm loving life. Real big 30, real chunk. Just let her beat it out. Just keep control of the fish. Hold her over the cradle. Give her the respect she deserves. And there you go. 31 pound on the nose. Happy days. Great session. Awesome 24 hours. I don't think I'll top that this year for 24-hour session. So absolutely made up. Got it right again, and I'm back next week. I managed to get on for next week for one last session for 48 hours. So happy days. I'll give you a little look on the other side now. The other side's nice without the scar. What a stunner. Look how thick she is. A real thick fat fish, this one. So happy days. I'm going to flick her over and have a look at the other side now. Keep on her belly. Plenty of water. There we go, here's the other side. Hopefully she'll behave. Is she going to behave? Yeah. There's the other side. Epic. Great capture. Epic battle. Really took off. Thought it was a cat. It's happy days. Big thick shoulders on it. More than happy to get this one in the bag. Second 30 of the year already, along with 16 or 17 20s. So happy days. But I'm going to get a couple of still pics and slip her back, and I'll speak to you for an update soon. Right, that's it guys from me for part 2. Quick overnight has seriously paid off. Buzzing 4 fish in total. So happy days. Well, 4 fish and a catfish. 5 fish in total in a quick overnighter is outstanding by any standards. So Willow Lake is being very kind to me in part 2, and you can see the only part left of me and my alarms, and everything else is packed in the back of the wagon. So I'm going to pull these alarms out and head to the shop for a chat and then head home, and I'll see you back here at Willow for part 3 next week. See you in a bit guys.